Greetings, my friends and fellow subscribers to YouTube. Welcome here to Frog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So we're here, it's favorites, Wednesday night favorites. I've decided to do a ranking of my 10 favorite songs by a band. This is something, I haven't done this for a bit. But I figured this band has gotten to a point where I kind of have to do something with this. So I decided to do it this week, and we're going to do this band, Blue Oyster Cult. And this album is Secret Treaties, which is probably my favorite of their albums. So we're going to do my 10 favorite songs from that, and I'll give you some honorable mentions as well. So basically, this is dominated by 3 albums here. Pretty much all the songs are from 3 albums, but I do have quite a few of honorable mentions from other albums too. So I brought along some album CDs so that you could at least get a kind of a visual of where these songs come from. So I'm going to do this the way I always do it, which is my least favorite to my most favorite, my number 10 to number 1, or my worst to first, whatever you want to call it. I like all the songs on it, of course. That's why they made the top 10. And then I give you some of the honorable mentions from other albums as well. So we're going to start with number 10, which comes from this album. And it is Joan Crawford. I always kind of like this song. It's a bit quirky, but that is a word you will hear a lot with Blue Oyster Cult because some of their music is a little quirky. But I like this song a lot. Obviously, it was written about the actress Joan Crawford in some of her weird ways. But anyways, number 10, Joan Crawford, from Fire of Unknown Origin. From number 9 comes from Agents of Fortune, which is many considered to be their big album, even though I don't think it's nearly their best. But got some good stuff on it. And from Agents of Fortune, it's going to be E.T.I., a really great song, maybe an underrated Blue Oyster Cult. Actually, most of the really good Blue Oyster Cult stuff is the underrated stuff. Number 8 comes from going back to Fire of Unknown Origin, and it's the song Soul Survivor. I do believe this is one of the last tracks, or it might be the opening track on the flip side. Yeah, it is. No, it was one of the last tracks on the first side. Yeah, great tune. It's really grown on me over the years too. I didn't initially like it, but the story is kind of funny and quirky, and the song is catchy as hell. So that's number 8. So number 7 comes from this album, Blue Oyster Cult's Secret Treaties. Fantastic album. This is one of the extras. So there's when they redid this, there was 2 or 3 tracks they added that had never been released before, and this was one of them, Boorman the Chauffeur. Such a quirky but funny, great track. Love it, absolutely killer. I think they do a great job of kind of hamming it up a bit on this song too. So Boorman the Chauffeur. Next up, also from Secret Treaties, another one of those extra tracks, which is Mommy. The lyrics are funny, a little bit quirky in a lot of ways. I think it's one of their best songs. I liked it a lot when I first got into this album, and I still like it a lot. Fantastic album, fantastic song, Mummy, number 6. Number 5 is also from this album. This one's one of the songs that was on it originally. It's called Dominance and Submission. And again, another quirky song, but really catchy, really heavy. It could have probably put almost all 10 from this album, and wouldn't have been upset in the least, but I split it up a bit. So the next song up comes from Fire of Unknown Origin, this album, and it's the self-titled track. This was my first Blue Oyster Cult album, probably been around 40 years longer than the rest of them, for me anyways, and just great. I love the album cover. I love the little quirky thing on the back, but that song, Fire of Unknown Origin, a little bit heavy, real catchy. this album's kind of different from some of their other stuff as well. Next up, from the same album, and it's this is a veteran of Psychic Wars, kind of a heavier, upbeat, up-tempo, drum-dominated song. Excellent track. I love the lyrics. Kind of almost proggy, a lot of proggy feel to this song as well. So it's going to be number 3. Number 2, back to Secret Treaties, and we've got Career of Evil, the opening track. This one's kind of catchy. I kind of like some of the Batman feel to it almost. Yeah, excellent track to open a fantastic album. And then the last one is also from this album, and maybe their best by quite a bit. I think this is a song that should have been much bigger, much more well-known. I think it's easily their best track, and it's called Astronomy. A fantastic, fantastic song, as is most of this album, but this particular song, great. So there's my top 10. As you see, almost dominated by 3 albums. So we've got, I'm going to reiterate them. Then I'll get a little bit into the honorable mentions too. So Astronomy, of course, going to open it. Number 1, Career of Evil. Number 2, also from Secret Treaties. Number 3, Veteran of the Psychic Wars from Fire of Unknown Origin. Number 4, also from Fire of Unknown Origin, the self-titled track. Number 5, Dominance and Submission, also from Secret Treaties. Mummy, also from Secret Treaties. It's one of the extras that was added, previously unreleased song, as is the number 7 song, Borman the Chauffeur, also previously unreleased. Number 8, back to Fire of Unknown Origin with Soul Survivor. Then we skip over to the one song from Agents of Fortune featuring E.T.I. This is another great track. And then Joan Crawford from Fire of Unknown Origin as well. So then some of the honorable mentions. So I'll give you a little bit of the album coverage on it too. So of course, Don't Fear the Reaper. You have to mention it. It's their biggest single of all time. Just about everybody knows this track. Agents of Fortune. It's on, upside down. Agents of Fortune. Many people love this song. They think it's their best of all time. It's a great song, don't get me wrong, but it's overplayed a bit, but I still like it a lot. The other song from this album that I wanted to also mention was This Ain't the Summer of Love. It's the opening track. Really, really quite catchy. One of my favorite tracks by them as well off of this album, and just fantastic tune. Godzilla coming from Spectres, so we're going to pull out some of the other albums that, actually Spectres I don't have here. Yeah, it's because it's getting ready to go on my playlist and I forgot to bring it down. Anyways, Godzilla off that track. This is one of the other songs that people may know. Godzilla, Don't Fear the Reaper, and Burning for You. Those are the 3 that get quite a bit of radio play. Transmanation or Manicon. I think it's Transmanicon. Anyways, it's off of this album here, their debut album. Another great track. There's a few good songs on here. They just don't really rank up to the other 3 albums. Next up, from Tyranny and Mutations, we got 2 off of that. And that's Hot Rails to Hell, I think, is the opening track. Maybe no, Red and Black is the opening track. Hot Rails to Hell. Where is that on here? I know it's on here. Oh yeah, it's the 3rd track on the album. Pretty heavy. This is a pretty heavy album, one of their heavier albums. And then you've got also from this album, Screaming Dizbusters, which is also on that first side too, right behind Hot Rails to him. So another great tune. Now I didn't include anything off of this album, but I do like it. This album's still fairly new to me, so it hasn't got its dues yet, but there are some good stuff on here. I do like the artwork on this album quite a bit. So hopefully this album will contribute something to the top 10 if we were to do it again. But for now, it's just not enough play time in order to really get it. I have a few other Blue Oyster Cult albums as well that haven't got the playtime yet. But I figured we were along far enough that I should do something for them. So there you go. There you go. My top 10 favorite songs from Blue Oyster Cult. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Favorites. Hopefully to see you again next week. Don't forget to hit the like and subscription buttons, and if you have any comments about the album or my track selections, or if you might have your own, because Blue Oyster Cultists just have a ton of really quirky, great songs. You can only pick 10, and so I picked the 10 I like the most. So and again, hit the notification bell, and we will see you next Wednesday for another episode of Favorites. Take care and see you then. Bye.